Cleveland. Growing up in Cleveland was probably similar to growing up in the rest of the Midwest. It was a little bit more blue collar than it is down south where I live now. Everybody worked in steel factories or oil refineries. There wasn't a lot to do as far as recreation, so we kind of entertained ourselves. It wasn't bad. The weather was gloomy, and it was just a bit more of a blue-collar kind of place. We had our fun where we could, and we always looked forward to Sunday when we always knew that we were going to get disappointed by the end of the day. My best Browns memory, it's kind of hard to pick them out. Pretty much every single win, since they come so few and far between, is kind of special to you. I do remember watching the draft in '99 when they came back, when we got to pick a couple people from every single team before they changed the rules about how expansion teams are. And that was really fun. The excitement about getting a football team back in Cleveland. But I mean, that got erased real quick when we played our first game, and the Steelers, I think it was 43 or 45 to nothing. And then you just remembered why you never even had fun watching it in the first place, and we shouldn't have been disappointed they took our team away. What is my worst Browns memory? Other than the obvious, losing the team in the first place, things like that. I just mentioned it a minute ago, the first game when they came back, and they automatically, you just knew right what you were getting into, that Chris Palmer had no idea what he was doing coaching a football team, and Tim Couch wasn't going to be the savior of Cleveland. That, and in 2002, when we went back to the playoffs and we played the Steelers, I think the Steelers scored 25 points, 22 points in the fourth quarter of that game. And I had a buddy of mine that was a really big Steelers fan, and the Browns at one point were leading that game by 17 points in the fourth quarter. And I called him up, and I pretended to be from the cable company. And I said, "Hi, this is Andy. I'm from Time Warner Cable, and we've had some complaints of the cable being out in your area, and this is just a courtesy call to make sure that your cable's working correctly." And he said, "Yeah, my cable's working fine." And I said, "Then you can see the score of the game, asshole." And I started laughing at him and hung the phone up. And then the Steelers came back and won the game, and I didn't get to talk to him for a while. I kind of hid.
Friends with a Browns fan? You know, this is the first time experience for me because I didn't know there was Browns fans, to be honest with you. I didn't know there was Browns fans until I moved to Florida. I went to this bar at Danny's, and they have a Browns room. A Browns room? What? A Browns room? That's crazy. But you know what? They did make a Bears room.
Why don't I just root for another team? I've actually got a pretty good metaphor that I've made up about that. Rooting for the Cleveland Browns is like having a favorite restaurant, but the restaurant is terrible, but you refuse to go anywhere else. At first it was close, and so you just kind of fell in love with it, but they've got a bad staff, they've got a bad menu, they've got bad chefs, they've got a terrible location, they've got bad owners, and just almost every single time you go to the restaurant, it's just a bad experience. Half the time you don't even finish your meal, you just throw your hands up in the air and walk out halfway through. But you just can't get enough of it. You have to have it. You give them your money. You buy their merchandise. You wear t-shirts around telling everybody that you're a fan of such a terrible restaurant. But you're addicted to it and you can't stop it. And then if you have the opportunity to move across town to another side where they actually have good restaurants, you don't get to go to those restaurants. You have to drive all the way back over and go to your same shitty restaurant and pick up the food and bring it back. And then all your other friends, they're eating their food from good restaurants, laughing at you while you're eating soggy wings and burnt fries, and you're just unhappy with the whole situation. You actually have to take a little bit of solace in the fact that all the pity your friends are showering on you and laughing. I was like, ha ha, your food sucks. I know my food sucks, but this is my favorite restaurant, and I'm not going anywhere else. And then on the occasion, you may actually have a good meal. You get a good appetizer, you get a good server, they make you a good drink. Everything all the way up, and then for dessert they bring you a big plate of turd with whipped cream on it, and it just ruins the whole thing, and then you still go home pissed off and mad. Any advice for young Browns fans? Actually, I think it's a really good character builder. It's a good thing to root for a team like the Browns, because it teaches you to not quit and to stick with things, even though you may not always be comfortable or be happy with it, and you may not get good results. It's something that teaches you a little bit of character, and you need to stick with things and see them through till the end. And you may not always like the situation that you're in, but you need to deal with it. Will there always be a next year? Yeah, there's always a next year. I don't know if I always want to be a part of it.